It could have been a different story for Margaret Nguluwe, a widow with 6 children, if not for agriculture. Currently, at 61 years old, having lost her husband in 2015 and with 6 children to raise, many would normally expect a sad story of a struggling mother with no access to basic needs. But for Nguluwe, the story is different, for she has defied common expectations and is a thriving agribusiness lady in milk production. But how did it all start?
When I heard
about Shimpa in 2004, I became interested and went ahead to find out more until I joined. I have 6 children. My husband died in 2015, and by then I was worried on how I would take care of my children. But with this milk production business, I was able to send them all to school, and most of them are now independent.
Nguluwe is currently a member of the Shire Highlands Milk Producers Association Shimpa and Mpemba Backing Group in Blantyre, with an average monthly income of 200,000 kwacha from her milk production. This is a peak on the potential agriculture has to positively impact on communities and alleviate many from poverty or succumbing to it in the first place. That agriculture remains the backbone of Malawi's economy remains undebatable for all and sundry. But despite this open truth, the sector still leaves a lot to be desired for such an economic driver. Over the years, efforts to make the sector live up to its description have been put in place with little or nothing to show at the end of the day. One such ambitious project meant to transform agriculture into a vibrant economic driver is the 71 billion kwacha agriculture commercialization Agcom project launched in 2018. Among others, the project aims at establishing vibrant and sustainable agriculture productive alliances, empower farmers with good financing and well-structured markets. As Teddy Nankuma, National Coordinator for the initiative, explains, the project is a game-changer aiming to put a new face for the agriculture sector.
That's the core business that we are doing to establish the productive alliances, and we give matching grants to support these produce organizations to produce and increase productivity. We demand that the farmer groups give 30% of the capital equipment they want to purchase, and we give 70%. But the 30%, 20% is in kind. So strictly we are looking for 10% cash contribution. So we are targeting to have at least about 100 by September, thereabout. We want to establish about 250 productive alliances by next year, March.
Targeting to establish 250 productive alliances come 2023, the project has, however, managed to establish just over 30, with Nankuma admitting to the slow pace the project has taken and attributing the same to a delay in its commencement.
We would say that we started sloppy a little bit because the project was delayed in terms of start point. But once we started, we've moved fast to establish the systems. So now we have established the systems, and what we are concentrating on now is just establishing the productive alliances. So although we are talking of 30, we are now at that, the trajectory is right that we achieve the 250 that we are targeting.
But does this ambitious project have the potential to bring in the needed transformation? One productive alliance that has benefited from the matching grant is the Shire Highlands Milk Producers Association Shimpa to a tune of 1.2 billion kwacha. Zoone Shipaka, Projects Officer for Shimpa, explains on the transformation the project has brought.
The coming in of Agcom and this matching grant have improved our productivity a lot, because last year, the same time, we are producing about 90,000 litres a day. And Agcom have come in with the support of 1,000 animals. And not only that, with the provision of transport, which is transporting feed from different areas and delivering to farmers at the milk collection center. So in doing so, farmers are able to access enough feed for their animals, which have also improved the quantity of milk. Right now, as I'm saying, we are producing about 110,000 liters a day.
Nkuluwe, a member of Shimpa and beneficiary to this matching grant, has only praise for this golden opportunity.
Panova inesi ndikutsalanso kuteko zolozolo lazima akasha uteko.
Now I'm not left behind. Business is booming. I and my fellow ladies have just received our monthly earnings from milk production just this yesterday. This is my home. As you can see, that used to be my house, but I managed to construct this modern one, all because of the milk production business. For this month, business was a bit slow, so I managed to get 180,000 kwasha.
Kumatuluka wina kamaka khala mbali kumawerengera 150,000 ndikumayang'ana kuti amayi awawa kakawanu sakhala bwanji kuteko ene mwezi umene unkakanga wavuta foja kuti unapita kusawa pamene unena panopa kuteko ndandira 180,000.
For an agriculture analyst, Tamani Nkhono, the Agriculture Commercialization Project is a good initiative by its design. However, more needs to be done in sensitizing the masses to fully utilize the facility.
The Agcom, I should say that it is a very good initiative by its design, in a sense that it is attempting to make sure that most of the farmers have been involved in commercial production of their crop. And one of the ways that it is using is to make sure that these farmers have been grouped into cooperatives or associations, or what they are calling working alliances of farmer associations.
Despite its promising outputs and huge funds, there are fears the project will never reach its intended targets, with only 2 years to go, in the words of an economic expert, Dr. Bechan Chelen. As Chelen explains, this promising project has all the potential to bring about economic transformation. However, procrastination remains a big challenge for Malawi in project implementation.
This project accorded us an opportunity to make sure that, number one, because we are going to be in cooperatives, we may not be called subsistence farmers, because we are going to create some synergies through which we are going to produce more for commercialization, and the landscape would have changed and transformations would have been undertaken. Some of us, when we looked at it, we realized that this is a huge project. But like we have always stated, in Malawi we've got the major problem of procrastination. We procrastinate a lot about what exactly do we want to do. And for us to do the implementation, it takes a lot of time. Why? Because sometimes people, and I'm sorry to say this in as blunt way as possible, but because the people look at how they can benefit from the project, not necessarily seeing the project giving us the intended outcome. And that becomes to be a problem, a huge one.
As for Tamani Nkhono, with many farmers not in cooperatives, sustainability of productive alliances might become a challenge in the near future, as groups put together for a specific program end up disbanding after the project phases out.
Probably one of the challenges that could be there is that naturally in Malawi, I think the formation of farmer has always been a challenge. Most of these groups have not been formed organically, in a sense that they come into being because there is something else that needs to be done. As such, in most cases, you see that after a process of these programs will also disappear.
Since its rollout in 2018, as the journey continues to 2023, critical questions remain. Has there been positive impact on the ground? Are we on track to achieving the set goals? For at the end of the day, transformation through commercialized agriculture is what Malawians hope to see. In the words of Chelen, not much has been done on the ground, and as many government projects before it, there is need to rid away with a tendency where those at the helm look for self-gains rather than focusing on the bigger picture.
It's doable, although because we are going to be doing things in a manner that is harsh and rushed, we are not going to win as much. When you are rushing, you don't win. You end up putting in place the things that are not going to help us much. There are still animal husbandry farmers out there who may need to be assisted. That would be maybe got cooperatives. I know that in Salima, got along the lake shore, the lower Chile, a lot can happen. This is the type of arrangement which cotton farmers would have been benefiting from. Nobody has actually organized them in a cooperative. So indeed, in what we are calling the productive cooperative, all we need is to be on the ground and organize to make sure that things are happening.
While admitting to the project delay challenges, government, through Minister of Agriculture Robin Lowe, commits to seeing the project bearing intended fruits.
Looking at the way where we are coming from, it's not promising. We only have about 2 years to go. We are not yet there because almost 75% have not yet benefited. So we have a duty as a ministry through our extension workers to sensitize farmers to make sure that they know that there is this facility where they will just contribute 30% and 70% contributed by Agcom.
Nankuma, on the other hand, expresses optimism the project will meet its set goals come 2023.
Before we disperse funds, we train the productive alliances, especially the producer organizations, in terms of the business they have provided. So our aim is that the support that we give should lead to increased productivity, and the market is there to offtake whatever they are producing. And we bring the right prerequisites to help the farmers increase their productivity and increase their management styles.
With more miles to be covered in the short time frame remaining, Nkono has tipped authorities to pull up their socks and to include individual farmers to maximize its outreach.
Maybe one of the things that Agcom could have done is to change the approach. Other than supporting alliances, they should have started now targeting individual farmers, because once individual farmers have been developed, it will be very easy for them now to start working with others. Otherwise, it may be a tall order to identify these kinds of groups, because currently less than 20% of all farmers in Malawi belong to any form of association or a group. So it will be very difficult for Agcom to reach out to a majority of farmers if the approach is only those that are in this kind of alliances.
Just as other promising projects before, the $95 million agriculture commercialization project gives hope of changing Malawi's economic status through a vibrant agriculture sector with many good stories like that of Margaret Nguluwe. However, just as many such projects before, Agcom could face the same fate as those that have been implemented and failed miserably before, either due to procrastination, lack of sound systems for implementation, or lack of political will, just to mention but a few. It will be a great shame for Malawi to have to return billions of kwachas come 2023 for failure to utilize the funds in such a promising project. Let agriculture commercialization project be the reason Malawi can comfortably be justified to call itself an agri-based economy.